It's time once again to slip into your camo, grab your gun, and join us out in the field for another episode of the Up North Journal with your host, Mike Adams, and his son, the other Mike Adams. They're locked, loaded, and ready for another exciting episode. So let's step outside and hit the trail.
Welcome back to another fun-filled episode of the Up North Journal, everybody. It's going to be a duck-filled and a goose-filled week, and remember, we're a part of the Outdoor Radio Network.
And also, you can go over to MichiganHuntingToday.com and you can catch the podcast over there. And we'd also like to welcome everybody from My Outdoor TV. So if you've been catching the show over there, welcome aboard. And don't forget, you can go over to iTunes and you can subscribe to the show there, or you can go over to our website, upnorthjournal.com, and you can follow the links to the podcast site, and you can actually register there or subscribe to it there. So, man, yeah. I am slap-dab wore out. It's been a wild weekend. Now, what did we tell everybody last week? We said we're going to go at it hard and heavy this week, that we're going to get out every day and do something.
Oh, fishing.
And what did we do this week, man?
We went fishing every day almost.
We hit it hard this week. This is like a super weekend, or super week for me, not weekend, but super week. It started on Monday. I'll go ahead. I'm going to rest for a second. I'll let you take over here. Go ahead and tell them what we did Monday.
Okay, Monday we went fishing. Was that the day, Mackenzie?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Second cast out, Mackenzie.
Well, the first cast out.
First cast out, Mackenzie caught like a little perch. Like, what was it, 4 or 5 inches?
Yeah, 4 or 5 inch perch. But you guys are in the boat, you and Jake, and I'm trying to get Jake ready, and we're getting everything all fixed up.
I'm trying to bass fish and stuff, and you guys are all fishing with bobbers.
So we get everybody just about into the water.
And
second cast.
Yeah, second cast. She goes, I'm going to move to another spot. I think I'm hung on weeds. She no longer the reels in for like not even half a turn, and something hits it, and that bobber just goes zing right underneath the water.
Yeah, she did literally a half a crank maybe, and that bobber just went boom under the water, down into the weed bed.
Her rod was like bent over.
I told her, I said, set the hook. You've got a fish on. You got a nice one, So she sets a hook, and the whole rod tip just bent right over. I'm like, take it easy, because he went right down into the weeds and the thick stuff. Didn't even see what it was, really.
Yeah.
And told her, be easy, don't horse it, And so she's reeling in nice and easy. And I see the flash of the fish dive under the boat, And she's already, by then, got the bobber up to the top of the rod. And I had her fishing, 3-4 foot off. So she couldn't get the fish out of the water. Well, I grabbed the net. I take the string, and I pull the line back so I can get a look at it before I net it, because it was under the boat.
Yeah.
And she landed a nice largemouth bass.
Yeah.
Actually, how big was it?
I think it was 14 and a half.
14 and a half. It was a keeper. And
by a half an inch.
By half inch, but that's all that matters. It's a keeper. It's the biggest fish she's ever caught. And I've never caught a bass that big. Have you?
No.
No.
Well, I've caught one close.
Close, but you didn't catch one that big.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. So we got that in the boat, and we caught a few panfish after that, off and on. But we got everything ready to leave that day, and called home, was talking to the wife on cell phone, letting her know about it. And she's like, well, you're going to take it and go get it mounted for her, right? And I'm like, well, what do you mean? And she said, well, it's her first big fish. I'm like, well, it's going to cost some money,
Yeah.
And so I said, well, I asked her, I was like, do you want to get it mounted? She's like, yeah. Got to get it mounted. It's my first big fish, first big game fish, And I'm like, well, okay, got to check the pocketbook here, see what we can do. And I called the taxidermist, and it wound up costing $195 to get that fish mounted. Actually, he only lived about 3 miles from the lake we were fishing. Not even that far, maybe 2 miles. And so we booked right over there, and thing was still alive, and so it was nice and fresh and everything. And we're getting it worked up for it, put it on the wall. We don't have any fish mounted here in the house.
No.
So she's got the first one. So quite the accomplishment. I was really proud of her. I don't know who was more excited, her or me. I mean, I was ecstatic. Really cool to see her catch something that big, And I mean, in a lot of people's minds, it's a keeper, and it's not a huge fish by any stretch of the imagination. But you know what? For her, that's a trophy, and in my eyes, it is too. Because it was her first big game fish. So we had a lot of fun.
Yeah,
it was really cool that day. But before we get on to the rest of the show, I want to say something about that day. When we got up that morning, we went to get bait. And I actually sent you in with a $5 bill to get a little bucket of worms. And they sell them by the 30 count.
Yeah.
And you come back and you brought...
I had like 73 cents.
You brought me back change, and I am talking change. And I'm like, well, where's the rest of the money? He's like, well, Dad, there were $3.99 a bucket plus tax. I mean, it cost $4 and... Well, it's $4.23 all said and done. And I'm like, $4.23 for 30 worms. And they weren't night crawlers either. They were little worms, you know, almost like a leaf worm. And I could not believe the price of, I mean, everything's going up, you know. And, you know, we get aggravated about the price of gas and aggravated about the price of food, this, that, and the other, you know. And the one chance you get out and spend a little time with the kids, and I'm not going to let a couple of bucks come between me and fishing, but it's just, it really irked me to think that it cost over a dime a piece for worms. And there were little ones at that. So,
I was going to get night crawlers, but then I figured you have to cut them in half.
Yeah, well, you know, it worked out. I mean, we used them for 2 days, actually. What we didn't use that day, we went back the next day. So, you know.
I got skunked that day.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, you did.
Yeah, because I was trying to bass fish.
You had the fly rod going, didn't you?
No.
Oh, no, you did. What were you using a topwater jig, weren't you?
The next day I used it too.
Okay. I couldn't remember what you were trying to fish with. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm still mad about that. $4.23 for 30 worms is just outrageous. So, but other than that, Monday was an awesome day. So Tuesday morning, we got back up and got at it again. Didn't have anything going that morning, so it was me and Michael and Mackenzie. Jake, he wanted to lay low that morning, and we got up and headed back over to the same lake again, and really weren't having any luck at all. And
that first spot that we fished the same day.
Yeah, we spent, only had about 2.5 hours, 3 hours to fish, so we wasted a lot of time around that one spot, and then we kind of moved and didn't find anything, and then we moved to a last spot. We found this nice little cove.
Full of weeds, and then there was
like a big hole in the middle of it.
Yeah, a big hole, and actually they were old spawn beds.
Yeah.
And there was like lily pads and weed beds all around it and stuff.
So we cast in the middle of that. And then all of a sudden we started hooking some slabbers.
Yeah, that was fun.
Big old bluegills. And we took, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 of those.
Yeah.
And, enough for a good mess of fish.
About as big as my hand, like 2 or 3 inches thick.
Yeah, and they were thick. Yeah, they were. They were thick, too. Real thick. And put up a good fight. So we finished out that day. But, while we were there, I want to go back and mention this, too. Monday and Tuesday both. Specifically, Monday, we saw a ton of geese, man. They were all over the place. And I'm not talking just sitting on the water. They were flyers, too. I mean, they were heading from, let me think here. They were heading east to west down across the lake. And we must have saw over 100 the first day.
And then
the second day, probably 30 or 40.
Yeah. 40.
And so they're out and about. They're getting thick. And I tell you what, we're less than a month away from the opening day of early goose season here in Michigan.
I think I have an idea where we're going to be.
I think so, too. Well, I'm not there. No, we're actually going to be up north. We're going to be up at the cottage where we hunted last year. So, but they'll keep down here until we get back. But anyway, back to the fishing now. We got those fish that day and had, like I said, a nice little mess of fish. Well, we thought, we got this game planned down. We're going to go back there again. And we planned on going Wednesday morning. We got up, and it was raining. And it was real nasty out. So we really didn't do anything on Wednesday. Kind of laid low, which was a bummer because I was so intent on making it a full week, doing something. So just took care of some stuff around the house and didn't do a whole lot. But Thursday, we got back out after him again. I said, hey, man, great morning. Got up, got everybody ready. And actually this time it was me, Michael, Mackenzie, and Madeline went, my youngest daughter. First time she'd been in the boat. And Jake, he just laid low again. I don't know what it was with fishing with him this week. He didn't want to take part in it. But went back over to that same hole again. And when we got up and got set up and everything, we thought we were going to nail them. We really didn't. I mean, we caught a lot of fish. We caught a lot of fish, but they were all little ones. So. And
that was the day I took my fly rod.
Yeah, you actually took your fly rod out. And how many did you catch with that?
I really don't know.
6, 7, 8 fish, something like that. I caught 4 right away, little ones, and I'm like, you know what? I'm putting the rod down. I'm just going to help Madeline take care of the ones she gets,
No, I think that's the day I forgot the pliers.
Yeah, it was the day you forgot the pliers. Yeah, we had a little argument in the boat that day.
Yeah.
Fish were swallowing hooks, and I cut a lot of hooks off and just left them because I didn't want to kill the fish.
Come figure out they're in the front dash.
Yep, left them in the truck. So I wound up tying a lot of hooks that day. But anyway, Maddie, man, she tore them up that day.
She got like 15 or 20.
Yeah, she caught over 15 fish that day, and I think Mackenzie caught 11 or 12. So, but they were all little ones. And anyway, we threw everything back anyway.
Because I didn't want to clean fish again.
Yeah, Michael got his little taste of cleaning fish on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So he said he didn't want to clean anymore. I said, well, whatever you catch then is going right back in the water.
I don't mind cleaning fish. It's just scaling that I don't like.
Well, that's all part of it. You know, you gotta take care of them. If you're not going to clean them, there's no sense in keeping them. So, but we caught a boatload of panfish that day. Probably, close to 30 of them. You know, but like I said, we put them all back. So it was a fishing frenzy first 4 days. And then Thursday, I got a call from a buddy of mine later that day. He said, hey, what are you doing tomorrow? He said, make plans. We're going to go scouting for deer. So that got me totally fired up for deer season. That's the first real scouting I've done all year. Haven't really been active. You know, other than shooting my bow, I really haven't got out and done a whole lot as far as deer season. So that got the buck fever juices flowing again and getting ready for that. But I had a friend of mine who has got a place where he hunts and has permission to hunt on, and invited me to go over with him and help scout and look for a couple spots. And it's not a real big place, but you know what? It's got a lot of potential. Nice cut hayfield right next to the property. They've already got a couple stands hung up, and there's deer trails on the property, and it's produced before. So I put some trail cameras up and put a little bit of Lucky Buck out just to see if we can get some of them digging around.
That stuff smells good.
It smells like pixie sticks.
I know.
It's candy for deer. But
Matt said he uses his air freshener in his truck.
Yeah, I bet he would. I bet he does. Stuff smells pretty good though. But yeah, I tell you what, there was something about that morning getting out. I mean, actually, it was later in the day. By the time it was 10:30, 10:45 before we got there. But there was something about being out in the woods. You know, you've got one thing on your mind, man. You're in deer mode, and yeah, I mean, it's first week of August. You're like, well, how much deer mode can you be in? But you know, when you get that first time out into the woods and you're out there scouting, I mean, you've got a purpose. You know, you're out there for one thing, and that is specifically getting prepared for deer season. And it just, I don't know about you, but it put me in a whole different mode. I mean, I'm scouting, you know, looking for rubs, old rubs. I'm looking for sign on the ground, you know, looking for trails and just checking out the area because it was a new area, number one, looking for funnels. And, man, it's just, I don't know. It just gets me all geeked up for deer, I tell you. It's an exciting time for me. And I can't.
I just kind of sit back and let you do it.
Yeah, I know. You're let me be the guide. But, you know, not only that, we sat around afterwards and talked a little bit and got to meet this gentleman. And it was a good time talking with another hunter. You swap stories and, you know, talking techniques and talking equipment and, you know, all the facets of it. It's just, man, I am ready for deer season right now.
Yeah.
I wish it was October 1.
Plus, we got to see his llamas.
No, alpacas.
Whatever, I call them llamas.
Yeah, they're alpacas.
Oh.
Yeah, he had, 5 of them out there in front? Don't shoot them.
I'm not going to shoot them.
They kind of look like a deer with a long neck, but don't shoot
a giraffe. I'm not going to shoot it.
You got to know the difference.
I know.
But, yeah, it's...
you know, that would be kind of weird, just be hunting and alpaca comes out in front of you.
Yeah. Well, he's got them pinned up. They're nowhere near where we're hunting, but... It really got me fired up and got me in deer mode. It's always that first trip out in the woods. When you get out and you start scouting, it just puts your senses on high alert. Not that it takes much to get me to that point anyway. I mean, driving down the road, I'm always looking and scouting and trying to see what I can see on the sides of the road and stuff. But, you know, it was a good morning. Spent a couple hours out doing that. So we will be getting geared up heavily here in August and September, getting ready for archery. We got a couple shoots coming up that we're going to be partaking in. Looking forward to that and tuning things up. And something that I'm now getting ready to do also is look for a new bow. I haven't mentioned a whole lot about it, but I don't think we mentioned this on last week's show because it wasn't totally official yet. But Kevin Hutchings and myself We've got all of our paperwork. Everything's in order. We are now official Mossy Oak Regional Pro Staffers here for Michigan. And we're going to be trying to mainly locate in the southeastern part of Michigan for events and shows and stores and seminars and things like that. And actually, the first one that I'm going to do, hopefully, if everything works out, I got to get all my stuff on it and make sure that I'm signed up for it, is the Bass Pro Shop event coming up August 6th, which is this coming Saturday.
Yeah.
We'll be at the Bass Pro Shop down in Pontiac, so
that's going to be fun.
I'm looking forward to learning a lot. Learning about the differences and the different types of camo patterns and what goes into them and what they can do for us. I know they've got some new stuff out this year, so I can't wait about that either, man. It's just I'm like a kid in a candy store with that stuff, you know. So, you know me, I'm all about scent cover and actual visual cover.
Camo freak.
Yep, it's good stuff. So, but kind of correlating back with that with the bow, obviously we need mossy oak. And the current bow that I should say the current, but the one that I was using is a Hoyt, and it has a competing different pattern on it. Well, this week I am out looking for a new bow. So I've tried to hook up with a couple different companies, and so far I haven't got any good solid leads, but there are two that I'm really looking forward to trying out. One of them's from Bowtech, and the other one's from PSE. And I'm going to get out and shoot those this week because I gotta get on my game, get it here in the next week, and get it set up and start shooting. Because, like I said, we got a couple shoots coming up, but more importantly, we got deer season coming up.
Yeah.
So, I figured 2 months' time I can get everything tuned and get it ready to rock and roll and be consistent with it to where I'm ready to be confident and get into the field. But I don't want to wait much longer than that. We got to get it and get it set up. So, probably sometime this week or next by the weekend, maybe even when I'm down at Bass Pro, we're going to get out and start really looking hard at them and start shooting them. And I'm going to make a decision here. So.
Well, yeah, you could do that at Bass Pro Shop. I mean, they probably will let you shoot them down there.
Probably would. I imagine they would with no problem. So, but if anybody would like a nice, slightly used Hoyt Tricon, I've got one that I will be getting rid of here that's going to go bye-bye. I hate to sell that thing because it shoots so good.
Yeah.
It's a really nice shooting bow. But, we're making a step up and hooking up with mossy oak, and that's the right thing to do. And I get to get a new bow. Yeah. So that's all good. Well, I think with that, we're up through Friday. We've still got more to come. We've still got Saturday and Sunday.
Lots.
But what we need to do, let's step outside. Let's take a quick break. And we'll be back, and we'll cover Saturday. And then we'll take another break after that, and then we'll wrap it up on Sunday.
Sounds good.
All right. Let's step outside, and we'll be right back after this.
If you're looking for the best in outdoor hunting and fishing podcasts, look no further than the Outdoor Radio Network. Each week we have dozens of podcasts devoted to outdoor sports, with shows like On the Water with Bob Murray, Bass Champ Journal, Surf and Shore Fishing, just to name a few. Check out all outdoor podcasts on the OutdoorRadioNetwork.com.
Welcome back, and let's get back with it. Now to the good stuff on the weekend.
Yeah.
What are you smiling for?
I don't know. I'm just excited to talk.
You are. You're pumped up today, aren't you?
Yeah, I am pumped.
You wore out, but you are pumped. And you'll find out why he's pumped up later in the show. We're going to save that part for Mikey's
Let's
game
just
day.
say I have geese on the brain like crazy.
Yeah, well, and there's a good reason for that. But it's just been a crazy weekend. But I want to jump into Saturday, what we did Saturday. I don't know. I think I've talked about on the show before that I belong to the local NWTF chapter here, the National Wild Turkey Federation. The Flint River chapter that I belong to put on our annual Jake's Day event this last Saturday. And I got all ready to go and got ready for the event and got out there to help a bunch of kids. But more importantly, somebody else helped out this week, and who was that?
Me.
What did you do?
I helped tie flies with actually my so-called teacher from last year.
It was like, if you want to refer to like the Star Wars type theme, is the Master and the Master Jedi and the Padawan.
Yeah.
So they actually, last year at this event, that's when Michael fell in love with tying flies. And Richard Walker, that helps out every year, is the gentleman who taught him, and he was back again this year. So you got to sit next to your teacher.
Yeah, and actually, the whole time, he never even knew about it. He came in the room, and he just looks at me, and he's like, wait. And he just looked up by the voice and kept pointing at me in the voice, and he's like, you actually did it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because last year you talked a lot about it to him and talked about it, and actually I think I wrote him an email afterwards. But, you got to sit with him and all spend the whole day, and you guys tied flies. Well, talk a little bit about what you guys did.
We tied a lot of foam poppers and stuff. And actually, when there wasn't any kids there, I probably tied tons of them. That day I probably tied almost 100 of them.
Okay.
And I filled up like one whole side of my fly box.
Okay.
Which was like 50 flies.
So now you got some extras for later on. Now, did you tie all foam poppers, or you tying other flies too?
I tied all foam poppers, and I tied a few bead heads just to put in my box.
Okay.
Richard, he was tying something called the glitter grub that he's been having a lot of luck with bass and crappie on.
Okay.
Actually, I got one in my box.
Okay.
And actually, Donald was there from the range.
Yeah.
We picked him up, and he brought his vise.
That's one of the youth that shoot. Actually, he's one of the youth that's helping us do the youth bow review. He's shooting the edge that we got from Gander Mountain, the one that we got on loan from them. But he was there tying flies also.
He brought his, and he was tying like steelhead flies and stuff. I'm like, these are kids. They're not going to be going after steelhead at this age.
And wasn't he tying some real little, like size 26 hooks?
Oh, man. That story?
Yeah.
Yeah, he says, what's the smallest hook you've tied on? And I showed him 16. He goes, oh, that's big, and this thing's, like, tiny. Like, I would say it's half a centimeter big. The smallest doggo is 16. He pulls out size 26s, and they're, like, microscopic.
Uh-huh.
I mean, and he puts that in the vise, and he ties, like, a little dry fly on it. I about crap my pants.
Well, the doggone hook not the hook, but the eye of the hook that you have to put on the line.
Yeah, you have to have, like, you can't even see the line.
It's so small. The eye of the hook is so small. I don't even know how you can tie it on the line, but yeah, I was impressed at how small that thing was, and had a nice looking fly on that, to boot.
Yeah.
But I don't know how you guys. Number one, I don't know how you tie flies to begin with, because it just drives me nuts. But to tie something that small, no, that was really cool. You got to hang out with a guy who taught you, and you don't get to do that very often. Where you can go back a year later and the same guy's there that taught you how to tie, and work with them side by side and just kind of hang out for the day. That was really cool. And not only that, you got to tie some and give them out to the kids to use, which was cool. So, but
also another good thing is I got a whole bunch of feathers out of it.
Oh yeah, you guys were swapping parts back and forth and all kinds.
Well, no,
of stuff.
the turkeys.
Oh yeah,
they had a few live turkeys there in like a kennel for a few hours or something. And after I took them away and they were taking down the pen, I got in there and I got some of the feathers out.
Yeah, where they'd ruffled their feathers and they'd fallen out. Yeah. Yeah, we had 3 live turkeys there. No, it wasn't me, Kevin, and Michael. Those are the 3 live turkeys. But no, every year for the Jake's Day, they bring in live turkeys. So kids who don't have the opportunity to see what a turkey looks like, they bring in 3 wild turkeys. And actually, they're pen raised, but they are wild turkeys from a local farmer that raises them. And they had those there in the pen, and we had the Flint River Steelheaders Club there. They put up a big trout pond so kids could catch fish.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, and
you know what seems like the past 2 years. Last year they were okay, but this year they've gotten a lot smarter.
What's that? The fish?
Yeah, like towards the end, like there was almost like not a lot of fish were taken.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe been something to do with the weather too. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe it was too hot. But they were netting them and giving them away at the end.
Oh, they were?
Yeah, because they were stressed out as it is.
Yeah, a whole day in that kind of environment.
Yeah.
It gets pretty stressful on them. But, yeah, kids got to catch fish. And then we had the Michigan Bow Hunters Association. They put up a bow range and let kids come over and shoot bows at targets and balloons and all that. And we had the BB gun shoot there. And then they had me over on the shotgun shoot.
Yeah.
And I actually got to work part of that. And that was kind of special for me because the guy that normally works that area wasn't there this year. A good friend of ours, Art Wheatley, who actually I knew and hunted with before I became a member of the NWTF. Second year I turkey hunted. I had the fortune of hunting with this guy. And he put on a show one day in the woods that was just incredible that I got the fortune of listening to him chase a turkey down and harvest it. And he's got brain cancer, so he couldn't be there. And he normally sits in that spot and helps those kids out with a shotgun. And they asked me if I'd sit there and help out. So that was really special that I got to, I can't take his place, but it was an honor for me to be there in place of him. So I got to help a lot of kids that day shoot shotguns for the first time. Got to talk to a lot of parents that day about hunting and about fishing, about getting the kids in the outdoors. And you guys know that's been our passion here at the Up North Journal for over a year now. That's what we're all about. And for me to be able to help out and see a smile on a kid's face after he pulls the trigger and say, I think I got it, I think I hit the target, because that's the first time they've shot a gun.
Yeah.
It's overwhelming in a way to be able to help that many kids out, to be a part of that activity and helping them shoot their shotgun for the first time. So it was really touching. And I don't know, I can't say anymore before I get choked up about it. And I also had the fortune of talking to a guy there named Al Baggett. He's from Benefit for Kids, and it's kind of like the Hunt for Life thing, where, like a Make-A-Wish type thing. Make-A-Wish no longer allows kids to have hunts or fishing trips to fulfill their wish. So there's 2 organizations out there that are now helping fulfill those dreams for terminally ill kids. And I got to meet Al. He actually works here in town, lives not very far from us. And we've talked a lot back and forth via email. And he was there with the Michigan Bow Hunters Association helping kids shoot the bows that day. And he come up and introduced himself. We talked for a while. And we're going to hook up and do some stuff with them hopefully here in the near future. And if you guys ever get a chance to help out some kids somewhere along the way or contribute in some way to this organization, by all means, get with them and help out. I mean, because to give a kid, I seen the smiles on their face that day for being able to shoot a gun for the first time. If you got a terminally ill child or one, and you can help them go on a hunt and fulfill a dream before something happens to them, I mean, what more can you give a kid than their dream, So I was just really fortunate to be able to talk with him for a while. And we're going to, like I said, we're going to hook up and try to work out some stuff and help them in any way we can. And actually got to meet another guy over there that we've been talking back and forth with, too, that works with Al. And I got introduced to his kids, and they got to come over and shot the shotgun. So 2 guys I've been talking to on the internet show up at the show, and number one, I don't even know what they look like. You just, say, hey, I'll be wearing my Up North Journal hat and shirt. Come look for me. And all of a sudden, 2 guys walk over, and they stick their hand out to shake your hand and, introduce themselves. Like, oh, okay, now I remember who you are. Yeah. We've been talking so much on the internet, and it just I was kind of busy with the kids and everything, and I totally forgot they were coming over. So that was a pleasant surprise to be able to meet them. And, of course, Chuck brought his kids up, Chuck Parr here of the Up North Journal. He brought his 2 of his 3 kids up. Yeah. And his boy Kai got to shoot a shotgun for the first time. That was cool. And he stepped right up to the plate and let her rip. That was awesome. So we got to be a part of seeing him shoot his shotgun for the first time. And Kevin Hutchings, who's part of the Up North Journal, he came up. Kevin, buddy, I can't say thank you enough for what you did for us over there Saturday. He come up, brought his daughter with him, but, he pitched in over there at the shotgun range and stayed over there all day and helped us hang targets over there for those kids and was a part of that. And I just can't say thank you enough. He's not even a member of our chapter of the NWTF, and he come up for the day and donated his time to help out with the kids. And, that's what it's all about. A lot of people stepped up to the plate yesterday and give of their time and of themselves to help kids out. And that's what it's about. Without kids, there's no tomorrow for hunting and fishing. So you got to get your kids involved. Get them out there, by all means.
And Brian was there.
Brian.
Double D.
Oh, that's right. Cannot forget my buddy from KPEC, Brian Stanley
Yeah.
from Double D Coyote. He was out there with us, and actually, he was at the Camo and Lace event here a while back for the ladies, and that's how I got his name. But what he does is he makes custom predator calls, custom game calls, and I've got an interview with him. Actually, we're not going to have it this week. I'm going to bring it hopefully for next week on the show. We sat down with him and did an interview on kind of what he's all about and things he does. And I got a couple calls of his here with me, and man, they're awesome. They are just totally awesome. To get a custom handmade call, there's just nothing like it. I just can't say enough. This is another guy who stepped out of himself and give to the kids. And I don't want to give too much away personally, but he had something happen, a tragedy in the family this week, and he had to travel out of state. He flew in Friday night back into Detroit to make sure he got there Saturday morning to be there for those kids. And, Brian, if you're listening, bud, dude, my hat's off to you. That I just can't say enough for him to make that trip. He was worried about disappointing somebody, some kid that might not be able to see what, the predator stuff that he had, and he didn't want to disappoint anybody. And he made that trip back from Arizona after a tragedy in the family. Flew in the night before to make sure he got there. So, guys, there are so many people out there that are giving of themselves for these kids, and it blows me away to see guys do this. Just out of the kindness of their heart. They're stepping out on a limb. They're promoting hunting. And for, these anti-people to say that we're cruel and that we're inhumane for doing this, and you see guys giving of themselves the way they do, it's just overwhelming. It really is. The antis, you guys don't have a clue as to what it's all about. They don't. They don't get it. They don't understand what this is all about. And it's just an awesome thing. I've been the fortunate to experience so much this week and see so many things. It's just it's really blown me away. It's been a great week. I just can't say enough of what we've been through this week and the lives that were touched and the things that have been going on. You talk about what we give back to the kids. The kids gave back to us this week. We talked about art earlier, and the president of our local chapter, the NWTF, Jim Miller, he brought this big, huge poster board around.
Yeah.
And it had Get Well art on it, had a picture of art on it. He took it around, and every kid there at that event signed that card. Matter of fact, we had so many signatures on it, that thing must have been 3 by 3. They signed the front and the back, and then all of a sudden they had to get another piece of poster board.
Part 2.
They had a part 2 on it because he wrote Get Well Art Part 2,
and captions.
and they kept signing it, and they're going to take that to them. Those kids, they took the time to sign the card for a guy they don't even know. Just say, hey, buddy, get well and get back with it.
Yeah.
And get over here and help us out. So it was just, I don't know, man. It's been a great week. And we still got another day to go.
Yeah.
It's really cool that we've had an awesome week here. But the Jake's event went really well. And for you guys that's got kids that's never been to one, if you ever get the opportunity, get your kids out to a show. Take them out hunting, take them out fishing, get them to any kind of show that has anything to do with the outdoors, whether it be waterfowl, deer hunting, turkey hunting, whatever, fishing. There's just so much out there. And if you don't take your kids out, you're missing. Man, I tell you what, you're missing a true joy of spending time with your kids outside. I read a story this week that talked about the average age. They always said we got to catch kids by the time they're 14 to get them outdoors and get them interested, or otherwise they'll never be interested in it. Well, now they're saying it's 10 years old. If we don't get them by age 10, that they're not going to have a love or a passion for the outdoors. And that same article is talking about kids by the age of 10 who spend their free time on computers all day long, that they showed them a list of animals, common animals, and they couldn't even name them. They didn't know what a frog was or a turtle. They didn't know what a deer was. And that just blows my mind to think that kids out there don't know what those are. And that's animals we have running around here in Michigan.
Yeah.
It just it's really crazy that they can't identify a common tree. They didn't know what an oak tree was or a pine tree, and they just didn't know. And if we don't show them, they're not going to be able to understand what they are because they're sitting on the computer all day. And believe me, if you guys are listening to this, obviously you're on the computer right now listening to the show, and I appreciate it. But you know what? When you get done listening to the show, get your kids and get your butt outdoors and take them outside. So,
I have a hard time with trees sometimes.
well, you know what an oak tree is and a
Yeah, I
pine
know what
tree.
an oak tree and a pine tree is, but like maples and stuff like that.
Well, there's different kinds of maples.
Yeah.
You know, you got silver maples and you got red maples.
Poplar.
And there's poplar trees, and and it's all different. But you know what? That stuff all comes with being in the outdoors, and you'll learn that stuff. And it just takes time. It's like identifying ducks. Learning what pattern or what plumage on the duck, what color that is for which duck. The difference between a mallard or a pintail or a teal or a wood duck, what have you. So it's just all about when you get out there, and the more you experience it, the more you learn about it. So learning how to identify a fish. Is it a pumpkin seed? Is it a sunfish? Or is it bluegill or red eye? To me they're all kind of panfish, but each one is really different. There are differences in them. So you just got to kind of learn that. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't mean to get all off track there. It's just it's been a good week and it's been a rough week. Just hearing the news about Art's kind of got me messed up a little bit, and we just really missed him this week. And then the way Brian came in out of town, flew in the night before to help the kids is just, it really blew me away.
Yeah.
There are some genuine, good-hearted people out there, and the Benefit for Kids organization that's out there kicking it every weekend, trying to get these hunts lined up for kids. It's all good. Anything to do with the kids is good. So, but what'd you think about the Jenks event overall? You kind of stuck inside all day, and we're
I
sitting
was
there
in the AC.
Yeah, you sat inside where it was nice and cool, and didn't have to sit out inside in the sun. Actually, I was underneath the tent, so it wasn't too bad where I was at. But
yeah, it was pretty cool. I saw lots of different types of people and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like what kind of fishing they do and stuff like that.
So you got to sit down and talk with some of them.
Yeah, actually, some guys were. Actually, it was a lady with her 2 sons, and she said she was gonna go buy them some vices and stuff.
Oh, and start getting them tying?
Yeah,
well, that's
cool. They wanted to.
That's
and
cool.
then there was one lady that actually said she's tried it before and she doesn't have the patience to.
Yeah, I'm right there with her.
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys do it. It takes patience. It really does. So, yeah, I had a great time.
I didn't get a chance to go anywhere else. I was inside.
Well, but you were helping out, and that was the important thing. So, hey, well, listen, that was Saturday, and I don't want to cut this part short, but let's take another quick break, and let's come back. And I know you're
one day for break.
1 day of break, okay. And I know you want to talk about what happened today. You're just got ants in your pants right now.
Yeah.
So, all right, well, let's step outside. We'll take another quick break, and we'll be right back after this.
If you're looking for the best in outdoor hunting and fishing podcasts, look no further than the Outdoor Radio Network. Each week we have dozens of podcasts devoted to outdoor sports, with shows like On the Water with Bob Murray, Bass Champ Journal, Surf and Shore Fishing, just to name a few. Check out all outdoor podcasts on the OutdoorRadioNetwork.com.
Okay, welcome back. Well, this part I'm going to kind of take over from Mikey's game bag, I guess, because after all the excitement, I really haven't had an idea of what to do for Mikey's game bag. Today we went to the, Bay City, Mid-Michigan Duck Hunters Association.
It's the Mid-Michigan Duck Hunters Association waterfowl event up at the Bay City Recreation Area.
Yeah, and apparently there was supposed to be 100 vendors, but I think that was yesterday.
Must have been because it didn't look like they have it.
There was 70 or something like that.
And I don't even think there was that many. I don't even think there was 50. It looked like it cleared out quite a bit. But, still a good event. They had a lot of stuff there.
Yeah.
And Chuck Parr went with us.
Yeah, he had a field day.
Oh, definitely. And matter of fact, we've talked about on the show here that he's getting the new Holly Waterfowlers chapter, the local chapter of the Delta Waterfowl Association here in Holly, Michigan. He started that chapter. Well, he actually is trying to get a hold of the regional director, and he was there today, so they got all that set. They're meeting Thursday, and actually they're going to start getting very serious about doing the membership drive for that chapter and getting things set up for the youth waterfowl hunt coming up in September and everything else. So Chuck's going to have his little, duck wings busy here coming up because he's going to have his hands full. But, we saw him up there, and we actually bumped into a couple of friends of ours up there, which was kind of cool. And Jake went with us up there, too. And Jake, you're in studio with us now. Tell everybody to say hey.
Hey. So
Jake's with us in here today. He actually took part in some stuff, too. So we brought him in studio tonight so he can kind of talk about what happened. But, Michael, go ahead and kind of take it away. This is actually your day. So
basically, there was, tons of stuff there. There was decoys. There was calls. A lot of dog people, trainers. And there's lots of hunt things. Actually, there was a guy from Fish Point there.
Okay.
That actually Chuck talked to. Lots of, knife people and craft people, just trying to sell stuff.
Yeah, and they had different kinds of events.
Yeah.
First event we went to today was a youth seminar for duck calling, teaching
calling
clinic, teaching people how to call.
Never heard so many quacks in my life.
Yeah, well, there was actually Jake went in. You showed up a little late, but it was more for Jake than anything. You got to learn. That was put on by Delta Waterfowl also. Jake, you were sitting in there. Did you learn a little bit about duck calling and stuff like that?
Yeah, I learned how to use the tone calls about the tone hole.
Okay, because the call that they give you had a tone hole in it, right?
Yeah.
So you could vary the pitch rate, and it was actually on the barrel of the call.
Yeah, I never knew that those were used for that.
Yeah. So, see, you learned something. Did you learn how to use the call, more importantly?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think I'm going to let you cut loose on one in here.
No.
It blasts your ears out. But, there's a room full of kids, and they're all quack, 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 quack. It was loud. And I was just sitting there going, man, why am I sitting in here right now?
You were right in the middle of it. Me and Chuck were in the back laughing our heads off.
I was right smack dab in the middle of all those kids, and it's like every one of those calls were pointed right at my ears, it seemed like.
And surprisingly, two of my best friends were there. That's
right. You met a couple buddies from school there. I mean, we were good hour away from home, an hour north up the road, and all of a sudden Jake goes, hey, there's one of my buddies from school. So we kind of hung out with them for a little while and talked with them.
Yeah.
And I actually found out that one of the guys that was there was friends with my brother-in-law. So, it was kind of cool seeing some local guys up there and bumping into some people we knew, which was pretty cool.
Well, I've had all these, factory injected calls and stuff, like the mold injected and stuff.
So you had to go by the call tables, right?
Yep. And there's supposed to be more caller people there, but apparently some of them left or something.
Okay, well, the big names were there.
Zinc was there.
R&T.
Yeah, R&T was there.
Quack Attack.
Yeah, Quack Attack calls, and there were some other custom guys there.
Custom guys, local guys, but a lot of custom calls, a lot of handmade calls there, too.
But I went over to Zinc, and because I've actually, last year for my birthday at the Waterfowl Classic, what was it, Cabela's?
Yeah.
Actually, I got to talk to Fred, one-on-one. It was pretty cool.
Oh, Fred Zink?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've actually wanted to have one of his calls, and I've been looking at the price tags, and I'm like, man, I want one of them. And actually, I've been working all summer. I've got some money. And I finally got enough to actually buy, well, at first I bought one.
Oh, well, now, when you say you saved enough money to buy a call, tell them how much duck hunters know what these cost, but for you guys that don't know about duck hunting or goose hunting, that may not know what these calls cost, tell them how much you paid for the other one there, the goose call.
Okay.
Because that's the first one you bought.
Yeah, this is the first one I bought, and this is it's not factory injected. This is they use them on a lathe. Lathe or whatever the heck they're called.
Uh-huh.
And this is actually Coca-Cola, and actually this call was $100.
Coca-Cola is what?
A tree.
Okay. For those of you who don't know, cocobolo is a tree. It's wood.
Yeah. And they have excellent calls. I'm not going to do it in here because this one's actually super loud and you can get really low on it. Do a lot of grunt stuff, and it's called Little Man.
Well, you know what? Here, hang on, folks. I'm going to turn off his mic and Jacob's mic, and I'll leave my mic on and turn my back to him, so that way you can get an idea of what this sounds like. Okay, all right, go ahead. Don't hammer it, just... Okay, now that there was the goose call that he bought, okay? And
Yeah.
now my ears are ringing. All right, so... Now, how much was that again? $100. Okay, more than I'd ever pay for a call.
If I had my other one in here, I compare it.
Okay,
there's a huge difference.
I will say this: there is a difference. Okay, there is a difference. Just going back to Brian Stanley, the guy from Double D Coyote Custom Game Calls that was at the Jake's event. I've got 3 of his custom handmade calls that I got from him yesterday, and I've got regular Predator calls that I've used, that I bought in the store, and you take out in the field and you blow on them, whatever. These here of his, it's night and day.
Yeah.
A custom-made, hand-tuned call, obviously those are production runs.
No, these are handmade.
Oh, they are handmade?
Yeah.
The zinc calls are handmade?
Yeah, they're all handmade.
Okay, I didn't know that. But still, any of those that are handmade, the higher-end call, you do get what you pay for. There is a difference. And, I mean, I've heard it in your calls, your goose calls and your duck calls. So
when you buy like a $20 call that's like factory made, like mass production, they sound like duck calls. When you buy custom calls that are handmade, they sound like ducks.
Exactly. Who told you that?
Brian
from Double D, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yep. And it's true. They really do. There's a difference. There's one that sounds like a duck call, and then there's another one that sounds like a duck.
Yeah.
And the ones that are hand done sound like a duck.
Yeah, and then after.
Oh no! You can talk about that one later.
Phase.
Huh?
Go in the phase that one.
Yeah, go ahead. Now you bought the call.
Okay,
actually talk to him about what happened when you got over there. There was one that you actually looked at.
Yeah, there was one
wanted to buy.
I wanted to buy, and it was like 100. Actually, this one was like 160. And this was the one that I was looking at, and I'm glad the guys were there because I was actually thinking about ordering one.
You're going to order it online, without trying it.
Yeah, and actually, I'm super happy that they were there, and I could not get that thing to roll over.
Yep, you blew on it, and tried it, and blew.
Yeah.
And it was hard for you to use.
Yeah. And then that one was the Paralyzer, I think.
Yeah.
They had another one called the Power Clucker or something that I didn't even try because it's basically the same thing.
Okay.
Just a little bit shorter.
So you got a chance to try some out.
Yeah.
Make sure that you could use them.
Yeah, and I think there was another one, the Moneymaker. Actually, that's like a $250 call.
Yeah.
And that same thing with that one. He goes, here, try this one. This is the one that I use, and I've taken hundreds of geese with it. And that's the one that I bought, the Little Man.
That's the one you said he uses, right?
Yeah,
okay.
And I was calling with it, and he goes, that sounds pretty good, right? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, turn around, the woods and the lake is out in front. I call that thing's just ringing across that lake.
It was. You could hear it bouncing.
Yeah.
You could hear it echoing and bouncing back. That thing was loud, and it sounded good.
Yeah, and I could get really low on it.
So we buy the call, or I purchase it, and
my money.
With your money, and get everything taken care of. We head on down through the displays there, and we get around the corner, and we're looking at our I don't know, flyer, what have you, all the different events, and we go over by this big trailer thing, outdoor platform, and they're getting ready for the kids' youth calling contest.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, when are you guys going to start this? And he said, oh, we're getting ready to start right now. And Jake and Michael are standing right next to me. He's like, are you guys going to sign up? And I'm like, yeah, guys, try it out. Come on. And they're like, no.
I was like, no.
No, didn't want to do it. And the guy's like, come on, sign up. He said, what do you got to lose?
Yeah.
And there was another lady from the DNR there, and what did she do?
She grabbed us and pulled us over to the registration table.
She pulled Michael, and then I just ran over and just signed up.
Yeah, so you guys signed up for this youth calling competition. Okay. Well,
and
the first one was, what did they call it? It was like
the featherlings or something.
The feather lights or feather weights or something like that.
Figgins or something like that.
Fingerlings. That's what it was. The fingerlings. They were the young kids, like 9 and under, that have no calling experience whatsoever. Now, Jake signed up for this event, and he's never blown a goose call. Not one time has he ever blown a goose call. He's blown duck calls, but not goose calls.
And you're lucky I brought my goose calls.
You brought? Yeah,
I brought 2 of them, and I let him use the easier one. Yeah. The one that I replaced with the new one.
Uh-huh.
And eventually you gave me both of them.
Yeah, I gave him both of them after this.
So Jacob gets up there. He warmed up a little bit and got to where he could blow it pretty decent. And they only placed, they did the top 3. There was 11 kids in his division. And he didn't place in the top 3, but he was, I would say, 4th, 5th, or 6th, somewhere right in there. We didn't look at the official score sheets afterwards, but, I mean, by listening to him, you can kind of tell where everybody falls in line. And actually, I videotaped both events, and I'm going to put them online here hopefully next week or 2. But, Jake got up there, never, ever blown a goose call, and jumped into a competition, and, he was right mid-pack. And I tell you what, a little practice, this guy here is going to win some competitions. I can tell you that right now. So, but that was all good. He had a good time, and then big shot over here. Yeah, I'll let you go ahead and talk.
There was 2 other ones. There was 14 to 17, and there was 13 to whatever the end of his was.
Well, it was the, what did they call your division?
The hunter, and then there's the tenderfoots.
And the tenderfoots was basically kids who have called before.
But it was 13.
Had maybe a year or 2 years experience. It really didn't have any competition calling experience.
Yeah, and I'm almost 14 because I'm going to be 14 in 19, 20 days.
Yeah, about another 3 weeks.
And she goes, "Well, just stay in this one." So I just go in there. I think I was 4th.
Yeah, you called 4th.
Yeah, it was 4th place or something. I got up there, and the first time I just, right in the middle of my routine, I don't know what happened, but the reed just stuck, and
you squeaked.
It squeaked, and I was like, "Oh man!" I'm like, "Okay, I'm dead last now." And
but you finished out your routine.
I finished out my routine.
You got back on track.
Yeah, and they had 2 rounds for each person.
So you actually got pretty lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you got to go back up again. So after you got done calling the first time and you went back down, what are you thinking after you're done?
I'm thinking. What I was thinking after the first one, I'm like, oh man, I screwed up, and I forgot they had a second round. They're like, okay, you can go ahead and practice a little bit. So I just started practicing just for like a few minutes. I figured out what I was gonna do. I went up there again, and I added a little bit to it. Like I added a little bit of gurgle into it, so like field calls, like getting geese excited and stuff. More clucks and louder notes and longer notes.
You cut loose on it.
Yeah, I cut loose. I gave it all I got. And overall, I ranked 2nd place.
2nd place, folks. First calling competition ever. And he takes 2nd place. What you got there?
My medal.
He got a medal for it and got a couple other little good prizes.
Yeah, I got a hat and I think like a lanyard and a ID book.
And a gun lock.
Yeah. And then after we're all said and done, he comes back down and... Of course, me being there with my video camera, I had to interview him. And we're standing there afterwards, and one of the judges walks up to us, and he had heard me talking to the boys right before about signing up. So he come over to say, "Hey, it's a good thing you signed up, right?" And I'm like, yeah. He said, I heard you stick that note in the middle of your first run-through. And he said, do you want to know how much you missed first place by? And Michael's like, yeah. And he said, 2 points. He missed first place by 2 points. He said sticking that call in the middle of the first run was what cost you first place. So you did pretty doggone good.
In my competition, the only thing I won was 2 little rubber duckies.
You run 2 rubber duckies. But you got up there and did it, though. That was what was cool.
Thing is, I bought my call 10 minutes before.
You bought your call 10 minutes before, walked down there, hammered it, and took 2nd place. And could have really took first place very easily.
If I had a little bit more practice.
Well, not easily. The kid that won was good.
Yeah.
He was good. And matter of fact, I knew they placed the top 3, and there was 2 other kids there that was really good. And when I didn't hear your name called 3rd, I said he didn't place because I knew there was 2 other kids.
And these kids are like 3 or 4 years younger than me.
Well, I would say they were anywhere from probably 12, 11, 10 years old. They were old, but you're a bigger kid. I mean, it wasn't at your age. It's just you're a lot bigger than some of those kids. As a matter of fact, there was a 12-year-old kid there who was bigger than you.
Yeah.
And, when I heard him call the other kid's name for 3rd place, I'm like, I know there's 2 other kids up there that I thought called a little better. And then all of a sudden they called your name 2nd place. There was a kid there that didn't place, and I was shocked that he didn't play. I'm shocked that he didn't win.
The kid that was first.
Yeah, I'm really shocked that he didn't win.
Yeah, he was super good.
But, I think what they're looking for is they're not looking for a practiced routine. And I think that kid at the beginning, I think he had a routine, it sounded all too rehearsed, too well polished. Truthfully, maybe they hammered him on that. If the fact it wasn't trying to make natural sounds, it was more like a calling competition instead of actually trying to call.
You know what he did, but I didn't tell the judges, he switched calls.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he switched calls.
From first to second?
Yeah.
Run through?
Yeah, he switched calls.
Okay.
Maybe that's something to do with it.
Yeah, maybe they saw him do that. I don't know.
Yeah, because his call was brown at the top and white and clear at the bottom. And then when I saw him go up the second, it was exactly the opposite. I'm like, wait a minute, he's got the call upside down. Uh-huh. And then he comes off and he puts the call down. I'm like, oh, he changed calls.
Okay. Maybe they caught that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, man, I tell you what, I was so proud to hear, you got a medal for it.
Yeah.
Your first calling competition. And you go up there.
It was nothing big, but
no, it was the Michigan Duck Hunters Association Calling Championship. And you go up there for the goose calling. The ducks were yesterday.
Yeah.
I wish you could have been up there for that because you can call ducks too. But you go up there and for the Waterfowl Festival, you take second place in the novice division. That's nothing to sneeze at, man. That's really cool. It's something to be proud of. So I wouldn't take it too lightly. And so then after that, you went over to celebrate.
Yeah, I went over to them, told them I got my picture taken and stuff. They're going to put it on the website.
Over at whose? No, tell them
zincalls.com, I think it is.
You went back over to the booth. Hey, guy, I took second place for the call I just bought from you.
Yeah.
And he brings you out in front of the booth and takes your picture and everything with the medal and the call, and they're going to put it on their website.
Yeah, and actually, I said, from sounding how the goose calls sound, I want to try some of your duck calls out. So I tried them things. Them things are good too. And actually, I bought one of them.
Yeah, you bought another call.
Yeah.
And how much was that one?
This one was like $124.
$129.
Oh.
I had to spend your money once again. I know how much it costs. There's no way I would spend that kind of money on 2 calls. No way. But you worked hard this summer. You put a lot of hours in, and I wouldn't let you spend all your money, and spend a couple $100 if it's something you really wanted. But I tell you what, those calls, they are awesome. They sound good. They really do sound good. Well, let's turn the mics off again and let you do
the duck one.
Let you do the duck one. Hang on here. We'll turn. Okay, I got both mics off. My back's turned, guys. Make sure your volume's turned down. Here we go. Go ahead, Michael. Okay, that's enough of that. So that's.
I wasn't trying to hammer it.
No, I know. Man, they're loud.
Can I let them listen to what I do with the goose calls?
You got the goose call?
I know where it's at.
Okay, go get it. Okay, so now Jacob's ran out. He's grabbed the goose call that he had, and he's going to show you a little bit of his prowess that he did today up at the competition. Go ahead, Jake. Good job, bud. That's a little bit of his run-through. Well, what were you thinking while you were up there? I mean, you're out in front of all them people. You've never blown a goose call before, and you come up with something like that. What's going through your mind?
I'm sure I was nervous.
Were you scared a little bit?
Yeah.
With all those people?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you got up there and you hammered it, didn't you?
Yeah, I was keep on crossing my fingers to win.
You was crossing your fingers? I was crossing mine too, but you got up there, and that's more than I've ever done. I don't know that I could have done that. You had a lot of guts getting up there, and better yet, you blew the goose call, and you made some good notes with it, and that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah.
I'd take you out in the field with me anytime goose hunting. Let you hammer them calls. You too. Matter of fact, you're going out because you're the only guy that can blow a call. I can't do it. Actually, you know what? I think personally, when I blow on the calls, that I'm no good at it, and I've had a hard time with, especially with the goose call. But you know what? I blew that call of yours, and I got it to roll over immediately.
Yep.
It was a simple call to use. So
compared to that other one.
Yeah. So for Christmas this year, that's what I want.
Okay.
You got to buy me one of those.
Okay.
Save your money.
We'll go on half and half, Jake.
Because I'm not going to pay that kind of money for no call. But no, it was exciting to watch all those kids up there. And I'm bragging on my kids. But you know what? There was a lot of kids up there. There was 11 in Jake's division. And we're talking boys and girls. And, they got up there and they give it all they had. And that's, it takes a lot of guts to get up there. It takes a lot of guts. And actually, you were saying that yours is an international competition because there was a kid from Canada there, right?
Yeah.
From Ontario, Canada.
Yeah, that's what he said.
So, yeah, we can call you an actual. You participated in an international competition.
Yeah.
So.
And actually, I'm pretty glad I didn't go in the next level.
Yeah, the 14, 17-year-old hunter group.
Oh my gosh.
Those guys, all the vendors that were there, all the call vendors. They brought their teenage sons with them, and that's all they do is practice their calls. They were all pro staffers that were pro staff teenage kids up there hammering the calls. And those, I tell you what, they're phenomenal. You know, for being teenage kids, they could hammer the calls. They sounded good. And we didn't stay around long enough to watch the adult division. I imagine those guys could just really let her rip.
Actually, I kind of heard they said they're starting the novice thing, and then I heard them warming up, and actually some of them teenager kids sounded better.
Oh, than the novice adults?
Yeah.
Well, the novice, yeah, but I imagine the actual adult competition, the pro competition, those guys I bet were really good. We kind of probably should have hung around, but we didn't have enough time. We had to get back home. So, hey, one thing I do want to mention, we talked about all we did this week, and we kind of said we didn't do anything Wednesday because it rained. After it quit raining, I do remember one thing. We saw the albino deer again.
Oh, yeah.
Out back. We went out back with a video camera again, and I saw my albino buck again. Watched him for about a half hour. Yeah. And that was pretty cool. He was running around with 4 other bucks in the backfield and a couple of does. So I did have a full week, 7 days in a row of outdoor activities. So, man, you can't beat it. Not only that, I still got my work in. So it was all good.
And about the goose call that you wanted for Christmas, hopefully Santa comes in our house with a whole bunch of duck calls.
A whole bunch of duck calls, too? Yeah, maybe he'll leave some duck and some goose calls this year, hopefully. But, we've had... Or
maybe a gun.
Well, you never know. He might do that, too. Santa gives those occasionally, too. You never can tell. But, man, we had an awesome week here. It's just truly been an awesome week here at the Up North Journal. And I couldn't do it without my friends helping me out. Tim Ford, I got to mention Tim. He was at the event with his kids also. I forgot to mention you, Tim, earlier in the show, and I apologize for that. But he brought out his 2 boys and his daughter to the Jake's event. Tim is running our website right now, and we have a new feature on our website that actually Tim is writing for, and that is the fishing page. And there is Up North Journal Fishing. It's a clickable link on the right-hand side of the page along with our others. Make sure and go over and read that. He's going to start writing there and putting tips, techniques, stories up there for you guys to enjoy. He is our fishing guru. So he's going to head up our fishing page. He also does turkey hunting, and he does deer hunting also. But he's the guy here at the Up North Journal that knows about the fishing. So we're going to let him run with that and have a lot of fun. And Chuck Parr, who's heading up our waterfowl section of this, Chuck's out there hitting it hard for the new chapter he's got out there, the Delta Waterfowl Holly chapter, and he's become the conservationist and out there promoting hunting for kids. And I can't say enough for him. Kevin Hutchings, who is helping me here at the Up North Journal, is also one of my buds on the Mossy Oak Pro Staff team. He's out there helping me with the bow reviews and the reloading and just everything kind of all rolls around the hunting side of things here with me and Kevin. And then I got Mikey here who
does everything.
Who does everything. And now he's a calling second place calling
champion.
Well, I won't say champ. You're not champion, but you're second place.
Yeah.
That's the next best thing to being champ, and you're always champ in my eyes. So you got you a new hobby.
Yeah.
Going to be spending some money on calls, I bet, now, too.
Yeah, I better save up some
that
more
or
money.
some practice. You can be practicing.
Yeah, my new hobby's collecting duck calls and goose.
Duck and goose calls? Yeah, you got yourself a goose call from your brother, and then you got a duck call today up at the Waterfowl Festival. So
he collects the free ones.
Yeah, so, hey, he's rocking on them. He's out there practicing with them, too. So
didn't you get a Delta one, or did you get the foils one?
The Delta.
You got the one from Delta that we were handing out, yeah. So, yeah, a bunch of people were handing out for the different little seminars that they were given. But, yeah, it was a good day. It was a good week. And like I said, I got the help from all the guys here on the team. And, man, we got a lot to look forward to coming up. Like I said, we got the Mossy Oak event coming up Saturday that I'm going to be working on. I'm trying to get some more videos up. I actually got my hard drive up and running, guys. Got my new hard drive put in. And working on the goose banding video. That's coming along good. Actually, that day we shot so much video and there was so much going on that it's going to be 3 installments. It's going to be 3 different videos that there was so much information on. So we're going to do that, get that out there. Hopefully, it probably won't be up this week, but we're going to get it up real soon. We'll let you know when that's up there. And the goose calling that we did with the 2 youths today, I've got those. We're going to get those up real soon so you can check those out and check out the competition that they were up against. And what else are we working on? I got the interviews from Dave Plaucha from American Broadhead Company and the gentleman from Eastman Outdoors.
And,
we're talking back and forth about some archery stuff, how to make sure you got the correct arrow length and size and spline for the broadhead you're shooting with your draw length and your weights that you're shooting on the poundage on your bow and all that.
And then Brian from Double D Coyote.
And then I got an interview from Brian from Double D Coyote. We interviewed him out there at the Jake's event yesterday talking about his customized game calls and the things that go into that and what it takes to make one of those and advantages over other calls. So we got an interview with him. We got a lot of stuff sitting on the table here ready to go. It's just finding the time to get all that out, and we're working hard at getting that out for you. We're working on the website, coming up with some new stuff. We're going to try and come out with a full-blown new thing here around the first of the year with the website, and be a little more interactive with some videos. We're going to try to link all of our videos to that page and get that up and running. So we got some things going on. And the first of the year, right now, this is still in the works, people. It's by no means a done deal, but we're hoping by the first of the year that we may start doing video podcasts. And doing like maybe one of those a month. That's something that we've really wanted to do from the very beginning, and that's our goal, and we're working towards that. So we're out in the field constantly shooting video, trying to come up with some new ideas, working on stuff, and so we got that to look forward to. So we're going to get back at it again this week.
And it would be pretty cool if we could videotape hunts too.
Well, we're going to try to do that. We're going to take the camera out with us, just like we did last year.
Video tips and stuff.
Yep, do some stuff out in the field as always, and get some kids out in the field doing some stuff. And we've got a couple products that we're working with here. Going to be doing some field testing again. A couple things coming up that we haven't actually got in hand yet, so I don't want to release that just yet. But that's coming up. And, we're always working on stuff. You guys got any ideas of things you want us to talk about, you want us to explore or cover, let us know. Send us an email here. Mine's Michael Adams at upnorthjournal.com. And Mikey's is Mikey's Game Bag at upnorthjournal.com.
I've been getting some of your mail still.
Yeah, I know. There's something going on with the redirects on them. So if I'm a little slow at responding to your emails, it may be because for some reason he's getting them instead of me. But we'll get that all straight.
Junk mail, too.
What's that?
Junk mail that's addressed to you, too.
Oh, you can get rid of that. I don't want junk.
I'll forward it to you.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks. Yeah, that's what he'll keep all the good stuff, and he'll forward me the junk. I see how you are. So, but yeah, we're working on some stuff. It's always exciting and fun here. We try to keep it light and have fun, but we're going to be shooting this week up at the bow range. We got Monday and Thursday shoot, and Tuesday we've got our NWTF meeting up there, and then Saturday we'll be back at it again down there in Pontiac at the Mossy Oak event. So got a lot going on, people. We're rocking and we're rolling. We're having fun. And that's what it's all about.
Is what is it, the hunting classic or something at Bass Pro?
Yeah.
Is it just like deer? I'm
not sure exactly what all. Like I said, I haven't got the full rundown of what all is going on yet. I got to get with the guy who's heading it up for us and see exactly what all it's going to entail. Actually, what I would like to do, I would love to give a seminar on how to videotape a hunt, because I've got the experience of working in television for almost 20 years, and that's kind of my forte. And I told him, I said, that's kind of what I want to do. I'd like to be able to kind of promote hunting in that realm and promote mossy oak in that realm. How to camo your camera with some mossy oak, how to situate it in the tree, and make sure that you can get and videotape the hunt. Some techniques of shooting
with mossy oak.
With mossy oak. Got to get that plug in there, people. Got to get my plugs in there. So, but it's going to be a fun week again. It won't be as crazy as this week, I don't think.
Yeah.
This week we really packed it in. It was a good time.
Maybe I can draw people to your table with calls.
You could do that. I don't know. You might run them away if they don't want to get their ears blasted.
Yeah.
So, but with that being said, anything you want to add?
No, I'm tired.
Okay.
I'm going to go outside and practice my calls.
You're going to go practice. Okay.
Jacob's already heading out of here.
Yep. Jacob has left the building. All right. Well, as we always say here at the Up North Journal, if you're out on the water or in the woods, shoot straight and be safe. Until next week on the Up North Journal.